Devaki. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So welcome back to this session on Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7. So yesterday we studied up to verse 12, and we look at how Krishna is describing himself as the essence of everything living in creation, the taste of water, light of the sun, and the ability in man. So we can, when we drink water, we can remember this verse. Rasoham apsu, I am the taste in water, Krishna says. So this is very important that we remember Lord Krishna every second in our lives. So drinking water also, he offers us so many ways in remembering him always. So today we start in verse 13. So Rian, she's not here.
No, he is not there.
Puja Mataji, would you like to do the Sanskrit lessons?
Thank you.
Yes. And Sitaram Prabhu, would you like to do the English one?
Okay, Mataji.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Text 13. Text 13. Sarvam jagat mohitam napi janapi mam epyaha param avyayam.
Translation. Deluded by the three modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance, the whole world does not know me, who am above the modes and inexhaustible.
Text 14. Devi ge esha gunamai mama maya durantaya mam eva ye prapadyante maya etam tarantite.
This divine energy of mind, consisting of three modes or material nature, is difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it.
Text 15. Nama dushkritino mudhaha prapadyante naradamaha maya ya prahastadnana ashuram bhavam ashritaha.
Those miscreants who are grossly foolish, who are lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and who partake of the atheist nature of demons, do not surrender unto me.
Text 16. Chaturvidya bhajante mam janaha sutino. Sorry. Janaha sutino arjuna parto jignasu arthati gnanishcha bharata tara shaba.
O best among the Bharatas, four kinds of pious men begin to render devotional service unto me: the distressed, the desirer of wealth, the inquisitive, and he who is searching for knowledge of the Absolute.
Text 17. Tesham gnani nityayukta eka bhakti vishishyate priyohi gnani no tyartham aham sarcha mama priyaha.
Of these, the one who is in full knowledge and who is always engaged in pure devotional service is the best. For I am very dear to him and he is very dear to me.
Sorry, Prabhuji, there's a call for me. Just 1 second. British Gas Engineer. Hello.
Okay, continue.
Yes.
Udara sarva evaiti jnani tvatmaiva me matam ashtita sahi yuktatma mame vanutamam gatim.
All these devotees undoubtedly magnanimous soul. But he who is situated in knowledge of me, I consider to be just like my own self. Being engaged in my transcendental service, he is sure to attain me of the highest and most perfect goal.
Hare Krishna. I'm back. Text,
Okay,
text,
okay,
text
Mataji.
19. Text 19. Bahunam janma namante jnanavana mama prapadyate vasudeva sarvam iti sa mahatmasu durlabha.
After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare.
Thank you. The summary of the verses 13 to 19. If God can be perceived everywhere, and his existence is so strikingly obvious, why is there still wholesale denial of him? Krishna endows each individual with the free will to ply their own play. He describes the four types of people who reject God due to their preoccupation in worldly life: grossly foolish, lowest of mankind, illusion, atheistic nature. The four types of people who do accept God abate with different degrees of selfish intent. So seeking wealth, the distressed, the inquisitive, and the seeker of knowledge. It is a rare soul in this world who is able to approach God free of ulterior motives and enter into a selfless relationship of love. That level of spiritual purity, Krishna says, may take thousands of births. So lesson 30, human life is very rare to achieve, and even rarer is one who has surrendered to the Lord. So let's be very grateful to that Lord who has allowed us to perform bhakti and make the most of our great fortune. Thus we must treasure and protect this great fortune. Avoid committing offenses, especially the mad elephant offense of blaspheming devotees. So there is Bhakti Lata Beach we can go through. So yeah, very important. In which category do we find ourselves? So Lord Krishna had described the four types of people who has rejected God, but he has also described the four types of people who accept God. So are we in the category seeking wealth? Are we the distressed? Are we the inquisitive? Are we the seeker of knowledge? So even above this, do we want to have this selfless relationship of love for Godhead? So it is rather rare to get such a soul with such a level of spiritual purity. So it may take thousands of births. But having obtained this human life, it's very important that we try and continue trying to develop that relationship of love with the Lord. So this brings us to the bhakti path. So the bhakti marg is very important. So we try not to be desiring wealth, and even in our distressful moment, we can always think of God and just try to be in a mood that we always remember God, pray God, that we are always in progressing in our bhakti life. Yeah, any
Yes.
other comment?
No, that's good. Very well put. Very well put.
Pujya Mataji, you want to add anything?
Yes, I'm just thinking about number 4, about which says it's a rare soul. If ulterior motives you eventually fix him, you eventually resist him, may take thousands of births. But at least we can start this process as in when we realize that this is what should be is our aim, and eventually we may reach the goal.
Yeah.
We don't know what we have done before, and we don't know what is going to be in the future. So as I said, this is the human life that we have got, which is very rare anyway. And so we have to start in this. But it's surprisingly that so thousands and thousands of people, they're not into this boat at all. They're just in the sort of material concept of life, enjoy life while it is there, live and take it, and that's it. Sometimes it makes you feel sad when you see such people not taking the life seriously. Now, there's also another class of people who are worshipping into the demigods, but I think that is also one which direction is given to them by Krishna. So that eventually, they may, by the longer route, they may reach their destination anyway.
At least they were serving somebody, you know.
Yes.
It's not just serving themselves, because Maya is so strong. You're right. Maya is so strong, you know. Our life can just pass by. And before we know it, you know, 50, 60, 70 years have passed, and we've just lived for ourselves, you know, trying to satisfy our own senses. What a waste. We're lucky, yeah, you're right as well, that we've started the journey. Yes, we may not get there in one life, so be it, but at least we are on the right route.
It says that nothing is lost or
Nothing is lost.
in like what we are doing. Also, at times when I feel when I feel a little bit, but get engulfed by Maya and other things, other thoughts, and which will come, which I being a human being and in this world. But then I try to bounce back by saying that this is Maya playing tricks on my mind. So it means I become a little bit weak in my mind, and I try to avoid that and try to sort of move my direction, either chant or do something else, and try to come out of that. But as you say, Maya is very strong. It catches you at each and every step.
Oh, yeah. That's our job. Yeah, that's true. It's true. But, you know, being in the association of Bhagavad Gita and chanting, and it's a great comfort, as you said, you know, it's a great comfort. Sometimes the mind goes a little astray, but you bring the mind back again. So we're lucky. Okay.
Yes, well said, Prabhuji, that we have to bring our mind back to God, back to the bhakti, back to whatever devotional service we can do. So after a tiresome day at work and everything, so at least we can devote some time to the Lord. So whatever we haven't been able to do during the day because we were absorbed in other things, so it's good at least some part of the day we devote it completely to the Lord.
That's it. That's it. And he understands, especially when you're busy. Because there's a pastime between Narad Muni and somebody. Narad Muni was thinking he's a great soul. And others, especially this householder, doesn't remember Krishna. And Krishna said, okay, you take this glass, put it on your head, full of water, go around the world. And he did. Narad Muni did that. And Krishna said to him, so how many times did you remember me while you were holding that glass on your head? Oh, I didn't. I was just holding that glass. I was focusing on the glass. So then Narad Muni understood, oh, this householder has a lot of responsibilities. Yeah, you may not think of Krishna all the time, but there's a reason. So, yeah. And when you're busy and you're thinking of Krishna, actually you're blessed. You're really blessed. So.
So the Bhakti Lata Beach. So whatever devotional service we start to do is just like a seed. And we have to continue watering this seed through devotional service, bhajan, kirtan, everything, so that this seed will grow to this sort of plant And this plant gives rise to different bhav. So the heart is where the seed is planted. And through the devotional path and different processes, Shraddha, Sadhu, Sangha, so all these will help this plant to develop. So we have to take care of watering the plant through the different processes. So we have Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya. We have to take care of the weeds, Anartha Nivritti. Then we have to have complete faith, Nishtha, Ruchi, attachment to this devotional service. Then we have this Ashakti, attachment to Krishna, the object of the bhajan. And very rare soul do have this blossoming of the Bhaktilata Bij. So then this gave rise to this prema, the pure love for Sri Krishna. So these are very, very rare souls that do obtain this stage, do arrive at this stage. So we have 5 different rasas. So the Shantaras, the Dasyaras, the Sakyaras, the Vatsalyaras, and the Madhurya. So this is very rare and very difficult to attain. But at least if we continue thinking about it and strive for obtaining pure love of Godhead, one day Krishna will bless us. Krishna will surely bless us.
Indeed.
I remember when I first heard about Bhaktilata Bija, I said, what is this? How can we have a plant in our heart? It was so difficult to understand. Maybe I'm still not, everything is clear, but at first it was completely out of really anything understandable.
True.
And Sadhu Sangha is very important. So the more we hear, the more we study, so then it is revealed in one way or the other. We are able to understand it.
True.
Any other comments?
No, that's good.
I think just a thought that seed which is planted, a seed of bhakti, it has to be, as you said, fed well. Otherwise, it will not grow into all this. Yes, it has to be well fed because people are doing that and it doesn't grow. But at least whatever is growing in this life, it can, whatever, even if seed is planted but not growing that well, it can be rewatered in the next life so that it can grow.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
These 2 stages are very important. The Sadhu Sangha and the Bhajana Kriya. So the practice of devotional service and the association with saintly people. So once we have this faith and we continue at least in these 2 processes, so we know that we are in the right path. We can improve. We can always, we are sure that we are watering the plant and we are trying in the right path. And we are at least in this life, if we won't succeed, but in other life will continue. So shall we move?
Yeah.
Okay. Surendra Prabhu, would you like to do the Sanskrit thesis?
He's on the bus, I think, so it might be hard.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Let me see if Kananchani.
You do, Mataji?
Okay, so my daughter is going to do the English part, and I do the Sanskrit.
Okay.
Text 20. कामैस्तैस्तैरितज्ञाना प्रपद्यन्ते न्यदेवता तं तं नियमम् आस्थाय प्रकृत्या नियता स्वया.
Those whose intelligence has been stolen by material desires surrender unto demigods and follow the particular rules and regulations of worship according to their own nature.
Text 21. Yo yo yam tanum bhakta shraddhayarchitumikshati tasya tasya chalam shraddham tam eva vidadhamya.
I am in everyone's heart as the super soul. As soon as one desires to worship some demigod, I make his faith steady so that he can devote himself to that particular deity.
Text 22. Sataya shraddhaya yuktastasyaradhanamihate labhate cha tata kamam mayaiva vihitan hitan.
Endowed with such a faith, he endeavors to worship a particular demigod and obtains his desires. But in actuality, these benefits are bestowed by me alone.
Text 23. Antavattu phalam tesham tadbhavatyalpamedhasam devan deva yajanti madbhakta yanti mamapi.
Men of small intelligence worship the demigods, and their fruits are limited and temporary. Those who worship the demigods go to the planets of the demigods, but my devotees ultimately reach my supreme planet.
Text 24. Avyaktam yaktimapanam manyante mam abuddhaya param bhavam ajananto mamavyayam anuttamam.
Unintelligent men who do not know me perfectly think that I, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, was impersonal before and have now assumed this personality. Due to their small knowledge, they do not know my higher nature, which is imperishable and supreme.
Text 25. Naham prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samavrita mudbhoyam nabhijanati loko mam ajam avyayam.
I am never manifest to the foolish and unintelligent. For them, I am covered by my internal potency, and therefore they do not know that I am unborn and infallible.
Text 26. Vedaham samatitani vartamanani charjuna bhavishyani cha bhutani mam tu veda na kaschana.
O Arjun, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I know everything that has happened in the past, all that is happening in the present, and all things that are yet to come. I also know all living entities, but me no one knows.
Text 27. Ichha dvesha samuthena dvandva mohena bharata sarvabhutani sammoham sarge yanti parantapa.
O sign of Bharat, O conqueror of the foe, all living entities are born into delusion, bewildered by dualities arising from desire and hatred.
Text 28. Yesham twantagatam papam Jananam punya karmanam te dvandva moha nirmukta bhajante mam dridha vrata.
Persons who have acted piously in previous lives and in this life, and whose sinful actions are completely eradicated or freed from the dualities of delusion, and they engage themselves in my service with determination.
Text 29. Jara marana mokshaya mam ashritya yatanti ye te brahma tadvidu krishnam adhyatmam karma chakilam.
Intelligent persons who are endeavoring for liberation from old age and death take refuge in me in devotional service. They are actually Brahman because they entirely know everything about transcendental activity.
Text 30. Sadhi bhutadi daivam mam sadhi yajnam cha ye vidu prayana kale picha mam te vidur yukta chetasa.
Those in full consciousness of me, who know me, the Supreme Lord, to be the governing principle of the material manifestation of the demigods and of all methods of sacrifice, can understand and know me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even at the time of death.
So this is the end of chapter 7, Paramahansa Vigyan Yoga. The summary of the verses 20 to 30. Krishna establishes monotheism and distinguishes demigods as powerful entities in charge of universal affairs who are in no way, shape, or form equal to God. Actually, Sanatana Dharma is multifaceted, and the system of worship can be regarded as multi-layered, polymorphic, bi-monotheism. Multi-layered means that there are devatas who can be worshipped for temporary gains. So this is not recommended by Lord Krishna. Polymorphic means that Krishna has many expansions like Vishnu, Ram. Bimonotheism means God as a divine couple, Radha and Krishna. One supreme soul manifested in two forms, bimonotheism. Lesson 31. Our worship is exclusively made for Krishna and his expansions, Vishnu Avatar. The demigods, devatas, are his servants, whom we must respect but not worship. So this is made very clear here. Who is the supreme Godhead? So Lord Krishna is the one that we should be worshipping. So if we worship the demigods just to gain something material, this is not really the worship that we should be doing. Yes, comment?
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, I think Krishna makes it very clear in this chapter about the worship of demigods. Although it ultimately goes to him, it's still very indirect, and the worship of Krishna exclusively is much more beneficial. Nanibet, did you want to say something?
Yes, what I was saying is those who are, I mean, in India, lots of, I mean, everywhere, sorry, that they may be worshipping Lord Shiva.
Mm,
They think that he's the supreme. They
yeah,
will be, isn't it that they are thinking like that?
yeah,
And they will continue in that way of what they are doing. Like we say Krishna is great. They may be saying Shiva is great, Mataji is great.
mm.
And my other question was, there are lots of demigods, I mean millions and billions. So is there only one planet in which they all are? And once they finish the karma, people come down?
In the heavens, there are other planets, like Indra has his Indralok. The big, like Brahma has Satyalok. So the big demigods have their own planets, but otherwise they are in one sort of planet. In terms of, yes, the Shiv Bhaktas, they will be thinking Shiva is supreme. But if they are worshipping Shiva for material benefit, then that's all they'll get. If they're worshipping him as supreme, now Shiva is very kind. Now he understands that the spiritual knowledge is very hard to understand. So if somebody is worshipping him as supreme, if they're not after material things from Shiva, Shiva will be very kind to them. He will take them to Krishna because he himself is meditating upon the supreme. So it's not necessarily all lost for the Shiva Bhakta. Not necessarily. If they're genuinely praying to Lord Shiva without material motivations, but on the basis that he's the supreme, Lord Shiva will guide them towards the right route, because he's of course the greatest Vaishnava. Why will he not do that? So, but the risk is that if one is completely devoted to Shiva, why not be completely devoted to Vishnu or Rama or Krishna? And then you're guaranteed, to go back to the spiritual world.
That explains nicely that it's spiritually minded. You will worship Shiva and he will guide you. So, but people do worship. I mean, I've seen people who worship him mainly for not material gains, but from a spiritual point of view.
Yeah, if they've got no selfish motive, hey, Shiva will be kind to them. He is the greatest Vaishnava. He will understand, oh, they're worshipping me as God. That's not right. Don't worry. I'll still put you on the right path. No, he will, because he's the greatest Vaishnava. The Vaishnavas are kind. They're more kinder than Vishnu. So why will he not do that? So we never discourage the Shiva Bhaktas. Let them worship, no problem. We're going to invite Lord Shiva to our temple. And we want the Shiva Bhaktas to come and worship him as God if they want to. No problem. Just don't ask money from him or material things. That's not the reason to worship Shiva. Worship him because he's the greatest Vaishnava. He's the greatest devotee. Okay, anything else, Karuna?
Yeah, so we have the results of worshipping demigods, the Supreme Lord. So to worship demigods, these are perishable benefits. So within this material world, the planets, the demigods, and the worshippers, all are perishable. But when we worship the Supreme Lord, these are eternal benefits, devotional service to the Supreme Lord, his favor and his mercy are all unlimited. So this very gives a clear picture of if we worship demigods, what happens. And if we worship Lord Krishna, what happens. So perfect knowledge, text 23. Demigods are themselves part and parcel of the Lord. Living entities are parts and parcel of the Lord. So Brahman are the heads, Kshatriya are the arms, Vaishya are the waist, Shudras are the legs. So the philosophy, the different parts of the body, the Supreme Lord, then the same end should be achieved by worshipping them. This is the worship for demigods.
Thank you.
So this is the nature of the worshippers of demigods, their mentality, the philosophy behind the action and the result. Okay, so shall we end here?
Yep, it's good place.
Okay. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.